after a show like that, right? Is there
Oh,
an
yeah.
after party?
Yeah.
Official or otherwise? Is there
Not
an official
official.
after?
There's
okay.
someone and I set something up at a establishment. I don't want to plug them.
I understand.
Yeah, but it's nearby.
Is it a thing like when Andy Kaufman walks out to take everybody out for milk and cookies and puts them on buses? Is that what similar
wish.
to that?
Not that. It's just going to a place nearby to have some drinks and celebrate a friend's birthday.
Okay.
So it's like a little
everyone
double
can bask
event.
in the glow of another
that's
fun event.
This is an invite only after party.
Oh, so it's very exclusive.
It's exclusive.
Oh, okay.
It can be a good time though.
We were talking about Mayo Nog before I went to break. It's funny how people have to, doctors have to go, hey, I don't know if you've seen the onion water thing on TikTok. I don't know who the first person to do it was, but the one I saw was this girl, hot girl, who's slowly chopping up an onion, and you're not quite sure what she's doing, and then she puts it into water and drinks it. And it's being purported to be this cold remedy. Of course, it's all nonsense. It's all hooey. Doctors are like, yeah, you can do this, but there's zero evidence that it does anything for you. But people are passing it around TikTok. They're like, oh, it helps you heal from RSV and infections in your sinus. And doctors are like, no, it's not. It's probably not going to hurt you. But there's no research. There's no evidence whatsoever that onions in water are good for you at all. It's amazing. It's always amazing to me. Some people will go to any length to avoid science. The same people who are screaming and pissing and whining about vaccines, but fully on board with every little bit of social media voodoo that comes along. They're like, onions in water, because there's never like a before and after. And even if there was, it's not like you could attribute it to the onion water. And this isn't, I mean, TikTok is very, very popular. You know, it's the most widely used social media platform right now. It's all Chinese malware, sure, but it's the most popular platform out there. And it's full of stuff like this. There's another guy, somebody suggested to me a great follow on Instagram is the Food Science Babe, who's this woman, a doctor, food scientist, something, who debunks these people. There's a guy who's like, baby formula has sugar in it so that it can mimic breast milk, and it's dangerous for, and this woman kind of cuts in. She's like, this guy doesn't understand anything about lipids or how sugars work, or, you know, they give you the science of it. And yeah, listen, you can get knocked as being a killjoy. People go, they're just having fun. Let them do it. It's true, yeah. But to me, it's most entertaining, like I said, the lengths that people will go to avoid science, to avoid things that have been proven or disproven in favor of whatever goofy snake oil stuff is going on. I guess because they want to feel like they've discovered something, right? People want to feel important, and people don't feel important, I guess, if they're just taking actual information and passing that on. They want to feel like they've discovered something. That's the crux of conspiracy theory and everything else. People feel important if they feel like they've discovered something. Even if it's been debunked, even if it's ridiculous, the response can be, well, that's what they want you to think.
Right,
I found
exactly.
something here. You're like when Alex Jones goes,
Everybody knows this.
everybody knows this. Here's all the documentation. Well, if you have documentation, if you printed up a page on Wikipedia, then it's not hidden information. By the way, that guy, he's like, I'm not paying those people. He goes, I don't have that. You know, he got the $1.2 billion judgment against him in the Sandy Hook cases. And he's like, I need more time to file. He says his financial reports are somewhat disorganized. But he also made it very clear he wouldn't give up his public life or discontinue his public discourse. I guess that's what he calls InfoWars. As part of his bankruptcy settlement, he filed personal bankruptcy. But he's like, I'll settle with the families for $12 million.
Total?
Total is what he said. Because he's like, look, And I guess he's right. You're never going to get $1 billion out of, that's why it's hard to see where the actual accountability comes from in these kinds of cases. Because those families know they're not going to get that money from him. I mean, they were trying to make a point. When this guy brags about how his company makes tens of hundreds of millions of dollars from these dopey supplements. But I don't know how that stuff works. They could seize every single asset he has, and it would be a fraction of the total judgment. So it's not like whatever fantasies people have about Alex Jones being destitute and losing his empire, it's not going to happen. So I don't know. But yeah, he's very...
But if they seize all his assets, then he doesn't have... I mean, he owns all that stuff. Or he puts it into shell corporations or whatever. He'll move it around.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
But even, like I said, even if all that stuff was transparent, the guy doesn't have $1 billion. I mean, he's made a really good living. He doesn't have $1 billion to give to these people. Hey, Justin.
Hey.
What's up?
Not much, man. I was just listening. You guys were talking about that onion water stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you were talking about how, like, everybody's so quick to say pretty much screw science and just do whatever they can.
Some people, yeah.
Right, just to go along with stuff. Yeah, so why is it that you guys don't believe in science and other things that you talk about?
Like what?
Like
science is a liar
children mutilating their genitals and stuff like that?
Who's doing that?
And people in general just mutilating their genitals?
But, all right, hold on, wait. You're talking about transgender people.
Yeah, I'm talking about how all of the transgender people pretty much toss science out of the window.
But hold on. Let's talk about it. If you want to talk about it, let's talk about it.
Well,
okay. Tell me what you.
Hold on.
Well, let me have my say here. You're saying that that's not scientific, but it is scientific because.
How is it scientific?
Because there are genes within chromosomes that will match up or not match up with the genitals that you have.
So
do you know that
for science sake, can a man have a baby?
That's not the issue.
That's not the issue.
That's not the issue.
No, what I'm saying. All right, let me explain to you.
With transgender community, that is the issue.
No one genders
a real man
Justin,
or a real woman.
Gender's different than sex.
Oh my God. Says the whole new age of science.
No, that's the science of
Justin. Gender is different than sex.
There is a gene called the S. Listen to me, Justin. There is a gene called. Listen to me, Justin.
You do is spit a bunch of bullshit all day long. And spit a bunch of bullshit.
All right. We're trying to have a conversation, Justin.
Justin, what I was trying to say
not have some screaming dope call me and waste my time.
There's a gene called the SRY gene that will attach to the Y chromosome, which will make a person with male genitalia be a woman everywhere else in their body. That's what happens with transgender female to male people. You can look it up. It's science. So when you say, oh, you don't believe in science in these cases, I believe in the deep science that people are actually discovering now, not just this whole thing where your genitals are your gender identity. You have to understand there's nuance to all this stuff.
I'd be more interested to figure out why Justin was so angry about the concept of transgender people. He probably also believes that there's pedophile rings in the basement of pizza parlors, too.
But to say that transgender people don't believe in science is very false.
They rely very much on it.
Your body relies very much on the science and the doctors that use science to transition. So that I don't understand what point he was making in regards to.
He didn't know what point he was making. That's why he was trying to scream his way through it.
Because science is all around us. Is how you use science.
What?
Well, I'm just saying.
Science.
Now,
all right, I'm going to share this thread on Twitter from a biologist that explains what I'm trying. I'm not a biologist. I don't have all the terms all that memorized, but I will share this out for people that want to understand what I was trying to explain.
There's a lot of different, to reduce it down to Justin referring to it as genital mutilation. There's issues of genetics. There's issues of neurobiology. There's issues of endocrinology. There's issues that are way above our pay grade.
Now, I have a question.
And even further above Justin's.
I have a question in regards to someone, say, back in the olden days when they didn't have the science to do the transition surgery or stuff like that. Is there a way that someone could have woman-like traits naturally without any hormones? Like, if you don't have the right, I guess.
You mean hermaphrodites?
No, but like people with like micropenis. Isn't that like a trait from like you don't have enough chromosomes, or it's like something? I
think it's an estrogen testosterone imbalance. That's
what I'm saying. So
from birth, yes.
Does that mean that person is more likely to transition, or does that mean you have? I guess I don't know.
I mean, listen. My point for people who go, all these things that people have issues with people. These things all exist in nature. These are not unnatural states. There are animals and flowers and, that have male and female reproductive systems. So none of these things are unnatural. They might be unusual. They might not conform to what we normally identify with this and that, but they are not unnatural because they all occur in nature. Hey, Ryan.
Hey, can you hear me?
Hello, Ryan. You're over there.
Sweet. So I heard you talking about the Cavs earlier, and it was pretty awesome. You mentioned Donis Sabonis. So I was playing 2K the other day, and I had this guy from like an older, you can play in the older days. So anyways, there was a dude named Arvydas Sabonis. So I Googled him. And, because he wore number 11, he was 7'3", and he was from Lithuania, similar to Cavs, legend, Zydrunas Ilgauskas. Both from both 7'3", and both wore number 11. But that guy, he played overseas until he was 30, and then came over and had like an 8 or so year career, which he played really good. It was pretty neat. I guess he coaches some basketball now. He's the father of Domantas Sabonis, if I didn't say. And
I think that's what Bill mentioned earlier in the show.
Oh, I must have missed it. Typically, I listen to the podcast and then catch up. But today I caught it live, and with that, Domantas Sabonis mention, I had to bring that all up. And I wonder if Zydrunas was a fan of Arvydas Sabonis, as they were both, wore the same number, because on that game, when I got him on that trade, it made Zydrunas Ilgauskas a different number, and I had to go back and change that because it looked weird to see Z in a different number. You know what I'm saying?
Boy, I'm trying. I think that I do, yeah. Arvydas Sabonis is one of the greatest European basketball players of all time, and Bill mentioned earlier that his son, Domantas Sabonis, plays on the Sacramento Kings, because I couldn't name a single current Sac Kings player, and Bill was there to get that in there. Arvydas Sabonis was 7 feet 3 inches tall, by the way.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
Big deal back in the day.
Damn,
there was another guy. So I mixed him up with another guy that played his whole career in South America, and he was like super dominant there, and I don't think he ever actually made it to the NBA. But yeah, Arvydas Sabonis played in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
And was Lithuanian.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Yasa mala supkinya. Yeah, okay. So there's that whole thing and onion water.
I shared that. Yeah, I shared that thread that I was talking about on Twitter. If anybody wants to read it, talking about gender. If people want to actually learn that it is scientific in nature, and even if you don't believe that, it's still good to just treat people well.
Again,
I don't know.
This is something I mentioned yesterday.
Such an angry dude.
It literally doesn't affect your life at all. There are a lot of things that will directly affect your life.
And also talking about
That's not one of them.
like that's another thing that people like Justin's putting out there where they're saying like they're mutilating their genitals when they're not doing that at all when they are kids. No one's doing surgery that young. It's just.
By the way, you've obviously
insane.
never seen the movie Junior. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I had a baby.
Alan, people who think pregnancy is the primary trait of being a woman, by that logic, a woman who's had a hysterectomy is not a real woman either. You idiots said, let's have a conversation, then gang up and cut him off. Oh, don't be a child.
No.
A conversation. I don't need a guy. He's taking up my time.
He said
I don't need
something.
him screaming when we can't get a word in edgewise. It's supposed to be back and forth. I'm not going to have a guy screaming.
He said something. I was trying to explain what I was trying to explain, and then he started screaming at me. He started screaming at us, and then he started swearing, which...
You had to dump him. That's why I cut him off, dummy. Nobody on this show is going to know more about this subject than Bill. So if you call, and that is what you're trying to discuss, you should be quiet for a second and let Bill tell you something.
No one understands.
And then you respond, and then he responds. You're going to be at a disadvantage, by the way, on that subject with Bill.
Because no one understands the inequality of the transgender like a cis male.
Nobody understands the inequality of the sexes like a gay man, like Poundcake.
And not all of us agree on the same topics either. I just said I wouldn't allow someone to get surgery under 18, and I don't care if it was like transition surgery or a nose job or anything like that. Boobs, butt.
Nose job?
Wait till you're 18. Yeah, some girls get like a nose job for their like
They get
16.
it as a gift.
Yeah, sweet 16.
Yeah.
Rich kids, but kids nonetheless. My kid ain't getting that. I don't care how rich I am.
Sorry, you can't
What
get
kid?
that cancer operated on. You're under 18.
That's right.
Papa Poundcake says so.
You're not about to spend my OnlyFans money.
Uh-huh. Oh, it's metastasized. I don't care. You're a minor.
No surgery. No surgery. No unnecessary surgery.
Dad, we just want to get separated for Siamese twins. No, not till you're 18.
God put y'all together.
That's right. God don't make no mistakes. He didn't make little green apples, and it don't snow in Minneapolis in the summertime.
You have a lifetime poop partner. What you talk about?
We don't want to be conjoined anymore. Blah, blah, blah.
Science is a liar sometimes.
Don't want to be conjoined anymore. Could you imagine just being stuck to me all day?
What happened to those, remember the girls that had that show? They were joined, were they joined at the chest? Who were the two girls that had the show? The TLC, they were the conjoined twins. They were like...
I didn't know they had a show. I thought it was a documentary or something.
No. Abby and Brittany. Remember them? Are they still around? That was like 10 years
I
ago.
think they're dead. I just
No. So they got to be like grown women now, but they have one body and two heads.
Ugh.
It was called Abby and Brittany Hensel. God, they're both 32 now. I guess they'd be the same age, wouldn't they?
So now...
They are 32.
Before we go, would you for the story?
Yeah.
Would I what?
Would you?
I would not.
Bill would.
No.
I know Bill would. Bill's
No.
a freak. He would.
I don't know that makes you a freak. I just would not do that.
Because they're two people sharing one vagina. Like, that's nuts.
Did they have one? They had two breasts, two spines, one diaphragm. They're all over the place. Two stomachs, two gallbladders, one large intestine, one anus, three kidneys, one bladder. Oh, there it is. One set of reproductive organs.
So
one slightly broad pelvis and two legs.
So it's broad. So you wouldn't for the story.
They were like Rosie Greer and Ray Milland 100 years ago. For you old enough to remember that. Would I? No, I would not. Would I have sex with Abby and Brittany Hensel? No.
One's talking, one's humming during the time. Like, are you done yet? It's my turn.
That's what's amazing when these like
mine.
When they get married, and I'm like, wow, good for you. There's people walking around that can't find a partner.
You're so right. I'm still single AF. And these girls are like, we got our dream, man.
Oh.
Whatever, man.
Not what I meant by more head. Yeah, so it's pretty wild. Yeah, they're 32 now. Wow.
So do they have separate birth certificates and social security cards? Like, they got to have separate
Yeah,
passports?
they're separate people. And
They're not.
They are. They have
not.
two. They each have a brain. They are each a separate. They're conjoined twins.
I want to discount
They don't
on
share a
everything.
brain. There's like kids that are joined at the head, you know, and the doctors are like, we can't separate this. We can't separate you. Yeah, but yeah, they're two individual people.
Man.
I mean, you're going to die at the same time, right? That's the wild thing.
What if you don't? What if someone...
How do you stay? They share all that stuff.
You just
Do you
have
know
a-
how the internal organs work?
No!
They have two hearts, but they have like one rib cage.
Walk around with a dead twin on your head. Like,
That's not going to happen, though. I mean, I guess if one of them had like brain damage or oh God, it's just, it boggles the mind.
how that works.
I got a break. Oh, what a day. What a show. What a happy hour we missed. I got to take a break. If you want to get the last word in, send me a text, 35192, and we'll be back.
It's the Alan Cox Show. Everywhere on our free iHeartRadio app or whatever smart device.